In today's video, we're going to discuss how I'm playing Roundhill funds, and particularly RDTE, and I think this is the best way to play this newer fund. Yield Max, Roundhill, Defiance, and Cornerstone funds help us earn over $400,000 per year in dividends, as you can see below, almost $500,000 per year in dividends. And our performance value shows that we're beating all of the indexes with our approach using these funds with some margin usage. We're up 26% for the year, the S&P is up 18%, and the Nasdaq's up 19%. So we're beating all of the indexes on a year-to-date basis, and on Friday we're up 11,000 or about 1%, which is also in line with the indexes. So we're beating all of the indexes on a year-to-date basis and on a daily basis with these funds and some margin usage, which helps me live financially free from a 9-to-5. If you need help doing the same, email me for my e-guides at akintodd48@gmail.com. Most people say that this kind of performance isn't possible with Yield Max, Cornerstone, Defiance, and Roundhill because they erode. Well, Roundhill doesn't erode as much as the other funds, and that's why a lot of people like Roundhill. And today we're going to be discussing RDTE because that's the newer Roundhill fund that's launching soon. For every $1 you put in your account, you get $4 of purchasing power. I'm just using a small amount of that over $1 million in purchasing power to get ahead. My margin debt of around $400,000 will be paid back in less than 1 year because my dividends of over $400,000 will again pay that back in less than 1 year. I'll then be left with all these dividend paying assets to myself, paying monthly cash flow for life that qualify to banks for loans. So that's how we get ahead and live free from a 9-to-5 is we use our dividends to act as our pay stub, not trading gains, because banks don't accept trading gains and most traders lose over time anyway. 90% of traders can't beat the S&P. Also, my debt doesn't show up on a credit check to banks. So we're qualifying for all these loans to banks with our dividends using this debt, but this debt doesn't show up on a credit check, so it's good debt. So I think this is the best way to get ahead in this world because everyone has this margin power granted to them in their brokerage account. If you can have your dividends pay back that margin debt each month, then what's the risk? Just don't use too much margin debt, watch your maintenance, and we'll get into all those factors soon. Our margin interest is also negligible because I've negotiated my margin interest down twice. Many of my clients who bought my e-guides did the same thing. When you buy my e-guides, you get free access to Discord for life and you get my phone number for life, so just keep that in mind. No other channel on YouTube is going to be doing this kind of stuff, so I hope you like this idea on Roundhill and how I'm playing RDTE. The first thing you have to keep in mind with Roundhill is the higher maintenance, okay? XDTE and QDTE are the Roundhill funds that most people are familiar with, but they have 50% maintenance. This means it sucks up half of my equity. So again, for every $1 you put in your account, you get $4 of purchasing power, and you have to keep your available withdrawal high if you want to use your margin. So Roundhill is 50% maintenance. Once again, that means it sucks up half of my available withdrawal. I always say at this channel, you need to be able to withstand over 20% corrections in the market and still withdraw freely out of your account to pay your bills. All of my bills are automated out of my brokerage account to live the fire lifestyle. All of my bills are paid down by my credit cards, so I get the points first from my credit cards, and then my credit cards are paid back by my dividends in this brokerage account. But you have to have low maintenance names to be able to have high available withdrawal so that you can still withstand over 20% corrections in the market and withdraw freely to pay your bills. I always have insurance on as well, okay? So even though my margin debt will be paid back in less than 1 year by my dividends, so my leverage goes away and I can withstand over 20% corrections in the meantime, I always have my put options on just in case, which are up over 1,000% almost in 1 day during the Black Monday crash, and they're up almost 2,000% total during the recent correction. So I always have my put options on in my portfolio to hedge me in case we have more than a 20% correction in a given year. If you need help insuring your portfolio with put options like me, that's in my Volume 5 e-guide. So you have to have low maintenance in order to either use margin in your account or withdraw from your account. Even if you're not using margin, you want to have low maintenance names so you keep your equity high enough so that you can withdraw from your account. And even if you're not withdrawing from your account or using margin, maybe you like to sell options in your account. Well, you need to have low maintenance names so that the options that you sell doesn't suck up all of your equity either. If you need help understanding maintenance, that's in my Volume 3 e-guide. So QDTE and XDTE are high maintenance. They're 50% maintenance, and RDTE will be 50% maintenance as well, I presume. And so we love Roundhill, and I want to put all of my money in Roundhill because it gives you almost a 50% dividend, and it gives you capital gains that moves up or left or right on its chart. That's how we're outperforming so much with Roundhill after this recent bounce back. This is how we're getting so much in dividends and in performance. It's because of Cornerstone, Yield Max, Defiance, and I put about 200 grand into Roundhill, and I want to put more into Roundhill. Everyone loves Roundhill, and I can understand why, but the reason why I never did before was because it was high maintenance. And Again, I bought into Roundhill at the lows instead of the highs of the market because at the lows there was less risk, and therefore that offset the higher maintenance from Roundhill funds. But now I want to put more of my money in Roundhill, including RDTE. But how can we do that without taking up all of our available withdrawal? Because again, Roundhill is 50% maintenance. You can't just switch brokers to get lower maintenance for Roundhill because they might not have the special drip for Cornerstone. Cornerstone is where I have about 400,000 of my dollars parked because it's a 5-star fund and it moves upper left to right on its Morningstar chart. It has a 21% dividend and it averages 20% premiums per year on top of its special drip. If you own the shares up here, it's dripping the 21% dividend down here at the bottom for free money every month. No other fund in the world does this, and many people say, well, why are you talking about Cornerstone when we're making a video about Roundhill? Well, again, my channel is about living free from a 9-to-5. We need a total approach to sustain our dividends and live freely from a 9-to-5, and Cornerstone has low maintenance. It's 30% maintenance, and it has a 20% dividend with 20% premiums. So yes, it goes sideways to down on a 10-year chart here on E-Trade, but again, the Morningstar chart shows that it moves upward left to right. That's because you have to factor back in dividends, drips, and the rights offerings. If you need help playing Cornerstone around its rights offerings, that's in my Volume 4 e-guide. When you buy my e-guides, not only do you get my phone number for life, but you get free access to Discord for life, where we alert you of the Cornerstone rights offering announcements. So you don't have to worry about missing the announcement for Cornerstone. We do it here for you. We also just started our Roundhill channel here at Discord, so I hope you enjoy this channel. So I can't have all of my money in Roundhill, and I can't have all of my money in Cornerstone either. That's why I have 400,000 of my dollars in Cornerstone, not my whole portfolio. Even though Cornerstone is low maintenance, it is 30% maintenance, I can't have my whole account in Cornerstone because Cornerstone is a closed-end fund, and closed-end funds can have a mind of their own. So what do we do about RDTE? How do I make room for RDTE? Because it's going to be 50% maintenance, and I'm not going to just switch brokers to get lower maintenance. So how can I make way for RDTE? How can I combine RDTE with QDTE and XDTE to still get these dividends of over 400,000 per year and my performance while keeping my available withdrawal high? Well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sell my TNA for a gain. Okay, TNA is 75% maintenance, and it's the triple leveraged Russell 2000 ETF. So I have about 10,000 in TNA. It was up about 10% on Friday, but it's high maintenance. It's 75% maintenance. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sell TNA, raise a bunch of equity because it's 75% maintenance, and then I'm going to buy 10,000 worth of RDTE when it launches. So that will free up a lot of equity since RDTE will probably be 50% maintenance and TNA was 75% maintenance. So when we sell TNA, we won't lose any dividends because it doesn't pay a dividend really, and we'll just raise available withdrawal because it's high maintenance. But I don't want to lose all of my exposure to TNA either because TNA has massive gains, and I know that RDTE will probably move like XDTE and QDTE and give us that dividend, but the Russell is a huge mover, so we don't want to miss out on a potential 40% gain from the Russell like Tom Lee is saying. So I still want to control the Russell through my sold puts. I sold more puts on TNA on Friday to do this. We received $1,500 from selling one contract on TNA, and times 4, that means we received about $6,000 in total from selling puts and TNA. That then lowered my margin by $6,000, and it lowered my risk because if you take the strike price of 50 minus 15, it puts our cost basis at around 35, which is much lower than the current market price of TNA. So we're not only going to make room for RDTE by selling TNA, but we're still going to control it through the sold options here. This way we still get our day's gains potential, we lower our risk, and we lower our margin in the process. And with the proceeds from these premiums and having my margin lowered by 6,000, I'll then take those proceeds and buy more RDTE on any dips. Okay, so I take these premiums, lower my risk and my margin, and then I buy more dividend paying funds with the premiums to increase my yield even more. People always ask, how do you have a 40% yield on your account? It's because I sell the options and then use the proceeds to reinvest for higher yield elsewhere. If you need help selling options like I do, that's in my Volume 6 e-guide. Lastly, you want to combine RDTE with some other small cap funds that are low maintenance that still give you those gains. So SHI is one of my favorite go-tos. As you can see here, it looks perfect on the chart. We've been buying this fund all year, and I took it from the lows to the highs here. And now that it sold off during the recent correction, I'll be buying more SHI here at these levels. And SHI is also a 4-star fund, okay? So I'm just sharing what works for me. Shy, 4-star fund. It moves upper left to right here on its chart. It's a closed-end fund just like Cornerstone. So make sure you understand these closed-end funds. You can also look into DES. It's another good small cap fund that has a nice dividend and moves upward left to right on its chart. Okay, so if you need more help doing what I'm doing, email me for my e-guides at akintod48@gmail.com. When you buy my e-guides, you get free access to Discord for life, where we alert you of the Cornerstone rights offering announcement. And we also have a Roundhill channel here if you're interested. And you get my phone number for life, so just keep this in mind. If you like the video, click like or subscribe. Okay, I really appreciate the likes that you've been giving my videos. Please like my video right now if you haven't done so already, because it helps push this video out to more audiences who need the information that we're sharing here on this channel to live financially free. So please keep those likes coming, and I'll talk to you soon, everyone. Thanks.